How do leaders create clarity? This is one of the most important topics for a leader anywhere in any organization. And people want to know, how do we do it? How do we do it properly? And are there any ways that we should not do it or any pitfalls? That's what we're going to talk about in this video. So first and foremost, you have heard all of the sayings and the quotes and the mantras that where there is no vision, the people perish, or that leaders must create clarity, or that leaders identify what we're doing. It might sound cliche at this point with all of the business wisdom out there in the world, but it's very, very important. It's actually an art form, and it can be done improperly. And it's based on this one key concept, in my opinion. There's more to it, but this one main concept really hits home with me. We do not tell everyone in our organization what they should be doing in detail and how they should do it. Leaders tell people what they are to accomplish and what we are doing and where we are going. And then the people figure out together collaboratively how and what specific things will get them there. Does that make sense? So really, in any scenario, whether you're talking to workers or you're talking to foremen in a last planner meeting, or your project, or you're talking to a department head or one of your companies, whatever it is, if you are clear and you inspire your people to understand what it is that the organization is attempting to achieve and where you are going, they, because they understand the vision and the clarity, can figure out how. And so I want you to know that, just like Brene Brown says, clear is kind, unclear is unkind. People do not want to be left out of the loop. In fact, I've heard of some leaders in some pretty progressive environments and cultures basically abdicate their responsibility in the name of or for the sake of innovation. And they really wouldn't provide any leadership or tell anybody really where the organization was going. Everybody just kind of did what they wanted. And I remember talking to this individual one time, why don't we get more direction from you? Why don't we get more clarity? And he said, Jason, I'm not going to tell them what to do. I'm not going to tell them where we're going. I'm not going to give clarity. I want them to figure it out on their own. And I remember while being there, it was chaotic. Like nobody was heading in a common direction. I just remember like there's this false concept of, oh, I want to give people autonomy and freedom, so I'm not going to give them any information. No. That's not how freedom and autonomy works. And that's not how you get engaged people. And that's not how you innovate. Because if you're not going anywhere, you don't need to innovate anything, right? A necessity is the mother of invention. So even if you have this progressive culture where you want people to figure it out, be their own entrepreneurs, head in a certain direction, having a leader stand up and be like, this is where we're going. These are our targets. These are our financial goals. This is who we are. Provide that clarity. Then they're like, oh, we'll gather together as a team. Then they will connect. Then they will be like, I can accomplish this task autonomously towards this direction, or I can innovate in this direction. But if there's no direction, there's no goal, there's no innovation, there's no motivation. So leaders must have a clear vision of where they want to go. They must identify the what and the where. They must make sure it's clear, because unclear is unkind to people because it wastes their time. It wastes their time and it wastes their energy and it creates confusion and delay. It's just really a horrible thing. And so here's a pattern that I want to share with you that I learned from Patrick Lencioni, his book called The Advantage. And here it basically gives you 4 quadrants, and he says a leader will, number 1, build the leadership team. That's in the first upper left quadrant. Build the leadership team. Build the team, get the right people on the bus, the right people in the right seats, and the wrong people off of the bus, okay? Once you have that team, then the people on the bus decide together under the leader, even though the leader ultimately has the decision, but they decide together where they're heading, which is called clarity. And so I call it a clarity document. A clarity document is where you have your vision, mission, purpose, core values, 1, 3, and 10-year targets, your target market, and then what's called a thematic goal, or your goal for the next quarter, and then any defining or specific goals under that. And that clarity document will enable all departments and people to set goals that vertically align with where the company is going. So creating that clarity and documenting it, and don't just leave it on the wall, that's not what I'm saying, but documenting it and explaining it in a remarkable way is the next step. It's step 2 in that upper right quadrant. Then what you're able to do, or a leader's able to do, is to then communicate that clarity. So this might be a speech, it might be a fireside, it might be a memo, it might be all of them actually. It might be a podcast, it might be a video, it might be scaling it through your frontline leaders. However it happens, it must be scaled to the organization. And then once you have that bottom right quadrant of communicating that clarity, then you have the bottom left where you are reinforcing the clarity, or where you're going with human systems. Meaning that you use your core values to hire, fire, discipline, and promote. You understand that certain expenses are not going to be approved if it's not in line with where the company is heading, right? You understand that everyone needs to weigh in and buy in to that vision and create goals. And so human systems means that we are working our human systems through our people development department or our HR department to make sure that the right people are aligned and that they understand clearly how they fit in, and that they actually are fitting in, that there isn't any dissension. And so build the team, create clarity, communicate clarity, and then reinforce that clarity through human systems. That is the method. Now, I will link you in this video to some podcasts on how to create your clarity document and how to do your quarterly strategic planning so that you know your thematic goal and your defining goals, and you can get everybody headed in that direction. You're going to want to check those out. They're amazing. While you're doing that, in the description, will you please, if you would like to, hit the subscribe button. And if you like this content, like it, but we really want to hear from you. So if the podcast and the details that we're leaving for you aren't enough, reach out to me. I'll get them for you. We are here for you. This video is here for you. But let me summarize by saying that it is a leader's job to provide the clarity for everyone in the organization so that none of their time is wasted and everyone can row in the same direction. And so you might be saying to yourself, Jason, we've got it. We're locked down. Like, we've got our clarity document. I love that for you. Check. Number 2, Jason, we've done this strategic planning. We've got our 3-month goals. We got everybody aligned. We're jamming and we're ready to go. I love it. Check. Most companies leave that on the wall or in the computer or in the filing cabinet. This must be reinforced, meaning everything you do, every decision you make, every resource you allocate is checked against this clarity and these goals. And you keep a disciplined focus. And here's the biggest thing that I want to communicate to you, which I hope you love. Leaders will communicate this 7 times. Hey, this is where we're going. Okay, again. Hey, everybody, this is where we're going and why. And again, and I won't do all 7, but over and over and over and over and over. It will take 7 times, is what Patrick Lencioni says, to get to the point where everyone is like, oh, this is serious. It's off the wall. It's in our minds now. It's now in our hearts. We're all pulling together. And I want you to remember a quote, that if you could get an entire organization rowing in the same direction, you could beat any competitor in any market at any time and against any company at any time. And so repeating it 7 times and anchoring back to that clarity document, that vision of where you want to go, will get everyone rowing in that direction so that you can win. And so let me give you some closing advice with this. Write it down. Format it beautifully. Communicate it 7 times over and over, and teach and repeat and coach and mentor. And then follow up and create that culture. Remember, if you have a directive, or if you have a destination or a path or an effort and a way that you want to do business, which is included in your core values, it doesn't matter if you said it once. It matters if you're starting to create a culture, which means that everyone's starting to believe it through your communication and that people are starting to act that way, which means that we keep that focus and we make small course corrections with our micro actions. And then the last thing that I want to say is that you can really, really get people aligned if you have your vision, mission, and purpose, right? Your core values, your 1, 3, and 10-year target, and your your target market, and then you have this is the next 3-month goal, and then your defining goals. If every person in that organization has what's called a rock, Gino Wickman calls a rock in the book Traction, or a goal. Everyone has at least one goal, and I would say probably only one goal, one major goal that they're going to be held accountable to and reviewed based upon for that quarter, and it's aligned to your clarity document, and you actually follow up and it's actually something you check on, you will start gaining more traction in your business than you've ever seen before. Because everyone is working on a piece of the puzzle for where you want to go, and everyone has a 3-month window to do it before they get fatigued, and everyone is accountable. And so this is one of the main ways that you can create clarity. And I'll give you one other sidebar. It's not just with large efforts like this for the overall company. It's also in departments. Like if there's a strategic effort, can you be clear about that? Can you run through and explain what that effort means? Can you provide clear instructions? General Patton mentioned in his standing tactical orders that every order will be written and be followed by verbal instructions. And so I, as a leader lately, have been using this tool called the impact filter. And we got this from Dan Sullivan's work. He gives this as a free download. But I'm starting to explain tasks either on a department or an employee level when I delegate the following things: the purpose of the assignment, the best and worst result after it's accomplished, the conditions of satisfaction that define success with the activity. And that way people know what is the purpose, what is the importance, and what is the ideal outcome. And it's all listed there, clear for people to act on, either on an individual basis or on a department basis. And guess what? All of them are always aligned to the company clarity for where we're going in the next 3 months. And so I'm going to link you to those podcasts and to our clarity document at Elevate. I think you're going to find it remarkable. And I'd love to know what you think. Like, please put that in the comments below. But that is what we're going to give you so you can get a clear vision and really set out to create clarity in your organization at all levels. Because once you do, everyone will row in the same direction and you will get remarkable results. On we go.